You are down with.
Yo, Dave.
What up?
Drop the beat.
We like it old school. You know how we do this.
What you listening to?
The brothers from the 818.
91331.
Pacoima, California.
What's up, Dave?
What's up, Caleb?
The real, the raw, the relevant.
No script.
We invite you into our conversation. What's going on, people?
Let me just say this.
Thank you for joining us tonight.
You are down with.
The brothers from the 818.
What's going on, people? Fam, your man Dave, two times, kicking it with Caleb. Out in the 30, we in the NO, celebrating Caleb's big 5-0, 551. Couple other folks out here celebrating birthdays. We doing it up big here this weekend. We gonna be shooting shots, posting, doing everything, letting y'all know where we at and what we doing. So for all y'all who love the brothers from the 818, just know you kicking it with us in the South. We doing our thing, we making it happen. Big ups to the 818-91331. Peace out.
Well, hey, what's going on, people? You are back with the brothers from the 818. This is your man Dave, two times, kicking it with my man Caleb, who is 50 years old now. What's up, bruh? Welcome to the half-century mark. Holla at me. What's going on with you?
Dave, man, the brothers from the 818 are back. The
We are
brothers
back.
from the 818 are back. Oh, man, I'm 50. That's great, man. I am loving it. I haven't woke up with any pains or any aches. Just business as usual. What's going on with you?
Man, when I met you, you was 12. That's what's going on with me, right? Man, it's been a long time. We've been kicking it. That picture that's over your shoulder right there, I think you were 15, maybe 14 in that picture. And I was, either 15 or 16 right next to you. But it's been a long time, man. Welcome to the Big 5-0 Club. Glad to be your brother, man.
Thank you, man. Thank you for inviting me into this space. We'll get into it, but we had a good time celebrating as well.
We did. I want to talk about that and some other stuff from a little check-in. But not even check-in. That's kind of what I want to talk about. So before we get too far, let me go ahead and check in, man, and then you can follow me. I know I usually invite you to go first. But I'm not that young no more, man. I got to tell you. So let me talk to y'all before I talk to Caleb. We missed a week on the Brothers from 818. This is episode 30. It should be episode 31. Went on vacation. We had some stuff we wanted to do. Timing messed up and something had to go. So, we hope you guys forgive us for missing a week. But went to Atlanta. Hung out there. One of my homettes, her son's birthday was there, and it was like a week-long celebration for different things for all the kids from back from California and blah, blah, blah. And so was there running and gunning for like 5 days straight. Came back, went to work for 2 days, turned around, and then went to New Orleans for the weekend. Nolans for the weekend. So I spent 5 days in Eastern time, and then then came back 2 for Pacific, and then spent 3 or 4 in West Nolans, Central Mountains, 2-hour difference, whatever it is, and then came back. I am beat still. My body has not readjusted. I am just tired, man, and I'm only tired because too old to be doing that kind of celebrating. My type of birthday celebrating involves like a cigar, a drink, and a pool with my feet up. Really, that's about it, man. All that running and gunning and hitting the streets and hanging out till all hours of the night, it's in the rear view, man. Let me adjust that. Yeah, that's back there, man. I don't need nothing that looks like that, so I'm tired. That's my check-in. What's up with you?
Hey, man. God is good. Life is good, man. You just said that you went to Atlanta. back in the streets for 2 weeks. I mean, for 2 days, and then hit the airport again and went to NOLA. That is living life, man. If when I grow up, I want to be just like you.
When you get 51, you want to do just like that. Yeah, I get it. One of my boys, you remember JR, he was on one of our earlier episodes, and he was also on our, was it Valentine's Day? We had the bros on giving shout outs to their wives. He was like, yo man, you hit lottery or something I don't know about? You all of a sudden, globe traveling and doing blah, blah, blah. I was like, man, I just needed a vacation. But you know what I need now? I need a vacation, man, just to put my feet up and relax because I'm tired. So, but we back at it on the Brothers from the 818, man, and I'm glad to be here with you and glad to share this space.
Man, you had a chance to see my oldest in Atlanta. She was talking to me about that. She really enjoyed your visit, just being able to be an adult and take you around town. So thank you for blessing her with your presence, man. She was talking about that.
She blessed me, man. I'll be real with you, and we'll get into that too. But she provided me with the blessing. It's always beautiful to see your children, and she's one of mine too. Just kind of step up and handle theirs and do the things you need them to do. I got a story to tell you about that too. But go ahead, finish up. Sorry to interrupt you.
All right, okay. So I'll just do a quick check-in, and I just a acknowledgement to anybody that ever served in the military, anyone that ever wore the uniform, anybody that loves this country and just loves humanity. Your heart has to be torn because of what's going on in Afghanistan. I know I was driving on the freeway, and I looked over at my wife, and she was in tears. And at first, I was thinking, what did I do now, right? And then she says, no, it's just terrible. I feel terrible about, Afghanistan and the Taliban about to take over. And like you, man, disconnected from everything. I was like, what's going on in Afghanistan? Kind of like what happened. Right. Kind of like what happened on Bourbon Street. What somebody did what? Right. But I just have to acknowledge it, man. It's just really sad that the country is in turmoil. The United States spent 20 years over there. The coalition forces lost more than 4,000 troops trying to stabilize that country. And, being a service member, retired, I'll be remiss to not just acknowledge that in my check-in. But I don't want that. I don't want the weight of what's going on over there to overshadow what we're going to talk about today.
So let's talk about some good stuff, man. So I'm a real quick with Atlanta. I actually hooked up with baby girl second before the last night. Again, it was just activity after activity. She came over, played some gin. She ran the tables like it was a thing to do. Had some drinks, and I just had to get used to the fact that baby girl's in her late 20s. This is just something she does.
That's my dog.
Yeah, right. So we did that, and she was like, tomorrow I want to take you around and do this, that, and the other. And I was like, cool, let me just hook up with you. We do a little something. We spent the whole day together, and it was beautiful, man. It was beautiful. We rolled around. She took me to some food spots. She showed me, Buckhead and Decatur, and took me to like a shoe store, and took me to a, I'm gonna put up this picture. It should be right there, depending on what side. Anyway, Outcast, big mural of that. I can't wait to show off that. Just beautiful spots. Got to see her grandfather. Her grandmother happened to be in LA at the time, and hadn't seen him in years, but he was like, David, is that you? I'm like, Mr. Nobles, you done shrunk like 19 inches. You're not the big man I used to see who he was. And we got to chopping it up a little bit, try to pull out my checkbook and buy his house. He wasn't selling though. I really didn't understand that. He was being selfish. But then we went by Tish house, mom's mom, your first. and met her new man, and he was a cool brother, and he introduced me to a new drink, and we was all just sitting there chopping it up and vibing and having a real good time, man. And then came on back to my home Ed's house, and hopped on a plane. So Atlanta was off the hook, man. So much so I'm going back in December. I already told Iman to look out for me, because we're gonna go look at some more houses, go look around. I'm gonna tell her all the food spots I want to hit up. So definitely going to do that. Looking forward to it. Atlanta was an awesome trip, man. I love it.
I got two things.
All right.
One of them is, Iman, I'm looking at you right now. You did your dad proud, man. You did your dad proud. Try to drink him up under the table. I love it. I love it.
She tried.
The second thing is, man, I saw you sweating in Nolans. So I don't know if you're ready for that Atlanta humidity for a permanent residency. But
I'm not. I can tell you right now, I'm not. So
they have some beautiful homes, beautiful layouts. Things are kind of spaced out. I love it. I'm not sure if I'm ready for it either.
Yeah. My homegirl's house, her and her husband, it's probably 1.5 times the size of mine. Plus, they have land they're sitting on, and I think, it's 1/3 the price.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm just like, it's just crazy. Now, they stay out in Powder Springs, so it's not in Atlanta, the city, and I don't commute, so it really depends on what would happen. And there's a lot of factors. My kids are in school. It would take some weird things to happen for me to just uproot and move to Atlanta. But for a lot of other reasons, which I will go into with you at some point, maybe we'll talk about it on the show. I'm not ready to move to Atlanta. I'm not ready to move to the South. And I'm just that's me keeping it real with you. I'm from Chicago, but I'm a California kid, and moving to the South requires some adjustment. And I'm not ready to make those adjustments. So
Here.
So that's what's up with that. Before I'm done talking about Atlanta, but I want to talk about Janae and Zadia, man. They were our guests last week on the show, and most of the time, we record shows right before they air. Sometimes we have some stuff in the clip that we save up for a season or what have you. And in my stupor, and like I said, I'm just tired. I looked at the beginning and the end, chopped it up, posted it up, and didn't even think about it. Went on about my way, and X number of people saw it, and then I talked to you, and you were like, "Yo, man, did you edit this thing?" And I was like, "Okay, how bad could it be?" It was that bad, man. It was just a comedy of errors, and so I'm glad you watched that and was able to catch it before we caught it somewhere else. So if you caught the pre-edited version, good for you. If you didn't, it ain't up no more, so you'll never see it. It was pretty choppy. But regardless of that, it was a good episode. The girls really blessed us, hearing their insight, their wisdom. I think I described it as two young black ladies living their best life, and one's 14 or 15, and the other one's in her early 20s, I think. And I just see the future is their oyster, man. They got just so many beautiful things that can happen for them because they got their head on where it needs to be, right? I mean, I wish my head was there at their age. I went to school to get away. I really wasn't even concerned about education or what I was going to do next. I just wanted to get away, and maybe you did the military for the same reason. It's kind of like a next step. What's next? But there was really not a plan. I didn't get a plan in life till I was probably 30, right? And by that time I'd had a kid. I was still walking around on accident before I found my purpose. So,
those young ladies, I've been blessed to know them for many years. And I've seen them grow from children, like 9, 10 years old, into the women or the young ladies that you saw in that last podcast. And it's beautiful because they are an example for not just women, but anybody that want to do better in their lives. They have a vision and they're going for it. So Janaea and Zadia, thank you for blessing us. Hopefully one day the brothers from the 818 will have a bloopers reel, Dave, that will make it on there. I know that, I say enough stuff and I have enough issues just formulating a sentence. So I know some of that stuff will make it on there as well. But it was great to see that and catch it. And then I was like, man, is that what we look in the raw?
Right.
And for our audience, it's not much different. We just had some lights fall in and we had some people sneezing and that was it. But it was comical nonetheless, and it's good that we could laugh at ourselves. Yeah.
It's good that we could edit it and clean it up and still leave it up so people could see. But my favorite, and if you saw it, you saw it. But I don't remember who was talking. I think Janaea was talking, and like the light fell, and you just hear this clump, 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 and like my image just goes a lot darker, and I'm like, right. Cut. What was that? All good, man. Sometimes you gotta be able to laugh at yourself, and like I said, I make no excuses. I was able to clean it up. If you saw it before, you did. Comment about it. If you don't, you don't. It's all good. So, but check that episode out if you haven't. Good episode, very inspirational. Whether you have a youngin' in your house. That you trying to get to pursue some goals. If you are the youngin' in your house trying to pursue some goals, I think they both gave so many nuggets of wisdom and share some appreciation for other factors in their life as well, that people want to see and people want to hear. I believe we're always one podcast away from saying something or having a guest that's going to change the world, and maybe that one's it. And if it doesn't happen today, the beautiful thing is it'll always be there. And if it supports and helps one person get to their goals, then it was worth it.
There it is.
So the other one, and let's just spend the bulk of our time. I want to talk about Steve and Neil and John and Rudy, my boy Rudy, Richard Pryor reincarnate, and Big Tuck and Obi-Wan, and yourself and me, and I'm talking slow just in case I'm missing.
Yeah, let me help you with the last one. Yeah,
Alan Michael, can't forget about him. And our time in the Big Easy, man. New Orleans was off the hook, man. I had an amazing time. You heard me complaining about I'm too old to be doing that kind of partying, and I am. But while I was doing it, I was like, hey, this is what's up. We're going to have a good time. And publicly, I want to say to you, I was cautious, man. I was cautious because what I even warned you about is everyone that's your friend doesn't make them friends of each other. And you're putting a whole lot of personalities in the same room, and we're going to see, right? And I wasn't negative about it. I was just like, hey, we're going to have a good time regardless, but everybody ain't guaranteed to vibe. But we did, man. And from the time we got off that sweaty airplane and waited for the car to come around, it was just a good time by all, man. The accommodations was off the hook. The food, the camaraderie, the laughter, the soul conversations we had, the games we played, the time on Bourbon Street, everything, man, was just like, wow, this was amazing, and I'm glad I went. I had an amazing time. It was an incredible way to celebrate your birthday, and then as you've said many times, it wasn't just about you, but there were other birthdays within a range there, and we were all just celebrating together. So even the time we were there, I never felt like it was a Caleb celebration as much as bros getting together, getting away, and honoring one another while having a good time as well.
What I was reminded of on my way back is that you and I didn't spend a lot of time like one-on-one together. You and I, we were in the same room, but we didn't have as much interaction as I would have thought. There was one person that got away, that was Warner.
Yeah.
He didn't make it. And I don't know, let's do it again, man. Let's figure out when we're going to do it again. I don't know who's going to be part of that guest list, but let's do it again regardless. I mean, you and I will be there regardless. But I had such an amazing time in the house, and the house was in my opinion, worth every penny, because it put us all in the same space, and we were what is it, like Big Brother, right? It was like Big Brother or one of the MTV cribs where everybody was just able to intermingle, and you could see the personalities popping. And the house was unbelievable. It was a 9-bedroom home, so that was great. Bourbon Street and off Bourbon Street, the Canal Street and the casino. It was, and then, all right, so let's get into it, man.
Before you get into it, let me throw this out there, because you might skip past it, and I have to throw this point out there. And I'm talking to some people, they don't know who I'm talking to, right? But what I really loved about it is there was no prince or king in the room, right? We showed up, and maybe it's because we guys and we don't trip, or maybe it's because it's the way I think and you happen to think the same way, or maybe nobody gave a damn. People came in and they dispersed. Admittedly, you didn't have the greatest room in the house, but I don't think anybody cared. I don't think you cared, right? And no one else cared enough about their room to make us think about it or to make a big deal. And I just felt that as men, we were able to just get in there and vibe and be like, hey, I'm only in my room to catch some Z's. And that's happening, just a few hours a night, because most of our congregation was like at the table or in the couches or whatever. And I just felt like it was nice to be in a non-ego room where you didn't feel like, somebody was in charge, or somebody was leading, or somebody was choosing, or this is Caleb's birthday, so we have to do what he wants to do. You were very adamant from the beginning, like, you want some social time for us to kick it, but really you just want to open up the door for people to come and go and do their own thing. And they did, while still spending a lot of time together. And I really admire that about all of us that were there. We just kind of got in like we've been homies for a long time. And Big Rudy, Big Tuck, Obi-Wan, Alan Michael, I knew them from the gate. I met John a couple times, knew him. 2 other cats, just met them. But I mean, we were just all kicking it and chilling and having a real good time. And so I'm looking forward to doing it again. Honestly, I could wait 2 years. I wouldn't be tripping. But I'm looking forward to doing it again. So whenever we plan it, count me in.
Hey, man, we'll give you 2 years, let you catch up on your sleep, man. I think I average about 3.5 hours a night.
Maybe.
And like you, I've been tired ever since. If my children will allow me to sleep an extra 30 minutes or hour, if the job wasn't calling me, if I could get away with it, I would, because I just been tired, and I know it's because my body just is not used to functioning on so little sleep.
Right.
Nobody like you just mentioned, nobody wilded out, but there was someone who busted up their eye. That's a different story.
Yeah.
There was somebody that took like 15 shots of whiskey within like a 2-hour span. We ain't dropping any names.
It still was functional. I was like, wow. Okay.
That dude could drink, man.
Yeah.
We had different cultures and different people came from East Coast and West Coast. We had people, different cultures. We had different personalities. Everybody just kind of just blended so well, and I feel blessed because of that, man. And when I was telling someone the other day that now that I'm 50, because I could show my 50 cards. Like, now that I'm 50 now.
You can pull out the AARP card. I know you got it.
I don't have it yet.
I know you got it.
I can't wait to get it. I think I get it at 52, 52.
Yeah, something like that. They sent me my notice already. I'm like, dang,
Right.
that time?
Yours is on the way.
Yeah.
I can't wait to get it because I'm going to pull it out. Hey, is there any discounts? Like, I'll show up and ask for a military discount in a minute. And I'll ask for an AARP. I'll ask for a AAA. How could you help a brother? What do I need to show?
I pull out my ID like playing cards. I fan them out. What you got? Education, AAA, student, black man. What you need? I got it.
It's something that I was sharing the other day was that now that I'm 50, I'm not, and not that I did a lot of slumming travel before, but I'm certainly not doing it now. That home that we stayed in, it really set a high mark for where I would be staying at my 55th, at my 60th,
right?
Because I'm blessed to have the means to kind of pull it off, and I want to reward myself, especially if it's a big round number, especially if it's something significant. We should be able to do it big and treat ourselves, because so often we sacrifice in life, and we'll get the smaller car, get the smaller house, get the off brand shoes, instead of getting the Jordans. You walk around with the Pumas and the Reeboks, right? And so but I'm not going to sacrifice. I'm not going to sacrifice and travel. I doubt it, unless I'm very intentional and saying, hey, I want to kind of walk through. Not that I ever want to do this. I want to backpack through Europe, right? Then maybe I was slummed in, but yeah, man, I want to get my grown folk on.
Right. Yeah, man. I think we talked about it there. I'm not staying in nothing that starts with an M, unless it's like a Malibu or Marriott or Monterey or something like that. But I'm basically saying no motels for me, right? Something with a courtyard, and you pay $59 a night, and they got a big sign on it that's flickering, and you just kind of stay in the room. There's somebody. Nah, man, that's just not for me.
In your own sheets.
Yeah, it's just not my thing anymore. And I think it was you. I'm sure it was you. I don't know if it was on this podcast or whatever, and said something about me being uppity. You said uppity and bougie. I'm like, man, look, I own my bougie, but you ain't gonna call me uppity and get away with it. I ain't sedity like that, but I work hard and I like nice stuff, and I have a nice home that I like to stay in. And when I go travel, I'm not gonna cut myself short by staying in subpar places. When I go out to eat, I don't go to subpar places. I go eat at places I like to eat, that I don't mind paying the money to eat there. And if you're not there, you're not there. You might get there one day, or maybe you're different. You just don't care. I do, right? And I like going to nice places. So that house, I was going to say hotel, that house we stayed in set a high bar. And the next place I go, Airbnb might be on my list for what's next. I think one of the last times I was in Chicago, I rented a house on the north side just so me and my boys could, just have some home comforts and be able to relax and kick it versus doing the hotel thing. So I think it just works. It definitely worked in Nolans. And, whether it's a year away or 2 years away, I'm looking forward to getting that in again. So,
I'm trying to just kind of capture some thoughts here. Not that I make a lot of money. I don't consider myself rich or wealthy as far as money in my bank account, but I'm super blessed to have the family, friends, my good health, some real good genes, man. I got some people that lived 100 plus years in my family. My DNA is good,
right?
But but there were people that my guests that had less money make in their account than me. That was like, I'm paying for the meal for everybody. I'm paying for the this round of drinks, and And people was like, no, 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 there's no way you're gonna pay for a meal at this restaurant for 9. And people were just like, no, I'm gonna do this. This is what I want to do. This is what's on my heart.
Right.
Just blew me away. Just how everybody just kind of was so selfless in giving, even some maybe what they didn't have. So that was one thing. And the doctor is just so humble. You wouldn't even know. He just comes into the room, and he kind of forces you to just open up and reveal pieces of yourself that you wouldn't even know, that you wouldn't typically share with others. There was the youngest guy in the group. He was kind of green, right? In regards to, we kind of joked and said that he was he was green in regards to life experience, but that's my dog, man. He knows who he is. That's my dog. And I just love the conversations. He and I, we stayed an extra day, and we had some great conversations. That extra time that we spent on the plane, and I just love that dude, man. I was blessed to have my brother Obi there, and he's sneaky, man. We call him Sneaky Pete on the golf course, but he's sneaky as well because he's just so quiet. But he's always listening in. He is always right on point, and he is always present. And I love that about him. We're gonna talk about Rudy and Herman, man. Rudy and Herman, those jokers. They showed up with their cowboy boots, and I'm sure you're like, what's that about?
Right. Well, let me just say, I was gonna throw some love both of their ways. I'm gonna start with Tuck. I ain't seen Tuck since '02, right? And I don't think about him every once in a while, but probably 5 times in the last 19 years, he didn't cross my mind. I just wonder what Big Tuck about. Man, I think you had ran around the block for something. You called me. It was like, hey, Tuck's downstairs. Go let him in. And I went downstairs and I looked this way, didn't see him. I looked that way, didn't see him. I think I pulled out my phone. I was doing something, and I just heard a voice out the way. And I felt like that girl, man. I saw him, and I just took off running and jumped in his arms. I was like, man, it's so good to see you, right? And it just, seeing him brought back like 5 years of compressed memories that were missed for the last 18, 19 years that I didn't even realize it. And we just picked right back up where we left off. And then he got to sharing some stories of stuff that I had repressed, man. I was like, man, I forgot about that. And we laughed and joked and da. And then, Rudy, man, I love that guy, man. He's funny. He's exactly, there's no air about him at all. He's going to say what's on his mind. He's going to be controversial. He's going to, speak his heart. But he's just a good soul brother. One of them that you want to sit around with him and drink, just because you never know what's going to come out, his mouth. And again, I could say good things about everybody. I want to say something about the doctor though, and hopefully he hears this. It's good to see and meet the other side of you.
Yeah.
Right. Because I met him. It's always been in a very official capacity, and I saw one side of him, which I really admire. And I was like, that's a good bruh. He's handling his business, so forth and so on. It was good to see him take his jacket off and see that other side of him, and it just gives me that much more respect for him. So,
yeah, man.
You got a good group of people, man. I'm glad to be part of that group. I'm glad to be able to know that you're part of my group of good people. And like I said, it's those reasons that I'm just happy to jump in again and say, all right, let's do it. So,
y'all shared some stories about my past that hasn't always, I'm looking away now, that hasn't always been that great, glorious.
Right.
But you and I talk about all the time about accountability. I'm gonna say this. Sometimes you just gotta own your SHIT,
Yeah.
right? And that is who I am. Good, bad, and different. You sometimes you gotta own it, and all of the sum of all of those experiences make me who I am. So I'm blessed to really have those experiences, and for people to remind me, oh dang man, was I that treacherous, man?
Right.
Something else. You mentioned Herman and Rudy. You know, you and I, for years, we've been talking about what happens if we win the lotto, and the wife is aware of it. If I win the lotto, taking my phone, handing it to you, and I'm out. Right, I'm off the grid.
Right.
She could call you to find out where we're at.
Right. What happened? Yeah.
You know, I live in Cali, man. This is a common law state. Don't worry. You know, I ain't going nowhere with the money. I just don't want I don't mind her calling me. I don't want everybody else calling me.
Right.
But in addition to you, I'm calling up Tuck and I'm calling up Rudy. And I'm gonna say, okay, I need me an entourage.
Right.
Not because I'm gonna be walking around with bling in it and fur coats. I just need some bros with me that I could trust, and I trust those dudes with my life. They 100, man. They keep it real. There's no phony. There's no fake. They're real secure in who they are. Not that anyone else in our group wasn't. I just have a different relationship with those two, right. And hopefully everybody will get to see this because I love everybody that was on the trip, man. And I feel blessed that they blessed us with their presence.
Okay. No, I'm with you. I feel the same way. My list is a little bit shorter, but I definitely got an entourage that I want to roll with, people that I want to be part of that blessing with me. But the blunt of it is, if you ain't on my speed dial now, you ain't gonna be then, and don't put me on yours, right? And so people are gonna be like, man, you know, I'm gonna win lottery. They're gonna be like, man, did you know Caleb won lottery? Yep, he sure did. Man, that's nice, you know. So I ain't worried about them hitting me up because they think you won. And, you know, take your cut off the top and we'll put it somewhere, and I know where to get my money when I need it, you know. So we'll figure that out. We got to play to win, though, and I only play when it's a whole lot of people playing, so it minimizes my odds. Good thing I like working. So I'll just say that. But Bourbon Street, man. Bourbon Street was nice. I want to post some pics of that so folks can see. It was nice to get into some of the local foods, try some of the local drinks, see some of the local people. The thing about being in New Orleans, though, who's local, right? I mean, you're on Bourbon Street, you got to feel like 90% of the people out there hanging out are tourists, right? It's like walking down the Strip in Vegas. How many people there actually live there, right? But it was a different crowd as well. You know, we're out there 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. I didn't tell you then, but them hot dogs at Lucky Dog, we got 3 dogs. That was $25, man. And, you know, not that $25 is a lot of money, but $25 is a lot of money to spend for 3 hot dogs, right? And I was
remember
like,
them
wow,
be like $3.
Yeah, I was just like, you walked away, and old boy walked away, and I reached in my pocket, and I was like, yo, man, what I owe you? And he was like, $25. And I was like, no, we just had 3. He was like, you're not going to find nothing cheaper on Bourbon Street. He's like, this is the spot. And I was just like, all right. I mean, I wasn't even tripping as much as $25 for 3 hot dogs, bro. All right. The drink didn't cost that much, right?
There's slices of pizza right behind me, man. We just left the pizza spot.
Yeah, for $1.50. And you talk about, you know, $25. So, but nah, man, it was cool to be hung out, to be laid out. It was even cool at the casino, right? You know, wasn't making no money on the tables, so I went to the slots. Pretty much made my spending money back, you know, that I was planning on spending in New Orleans, which allowed me to bless you a little more and to, you know, throw some more blessings at some cats. So, you know, it was all good. The point you mentioned about folks who may not have the bank account you have that are pulling out of their pocket to cover entire meals, I got a policy on that, man. I don't. If somebody wants to buy, I give them one confirmation. You sure? And if they say yes, I throw my hands up. I'll be like, have at it, because for whatever reason, I don't want to be the person that blocks their blessing from they giving. So, regardless of what I think your financial situation is, what I think you got going on, if we go out to eat, you be like, hey, I'm gonna cover this. I'm gonna reach in my pocket and I'll be like, hey, you sure? And if you say, yeah, I got it, I'll take my hand back out and I'm gonna let you handle your business. I might even offer to do the tip or something else. But if you say you got it, I want to let you have it, because I truly feel like there's blessings in giving, right? And even sacrificially giving. And I never want to stand in somebody's way, right? So that's the way I look at it. Even that last dinner, I knew that the lion's share of it was already on my card. And so I was like, let people put in what they're going to put in. And see what covers. And what everybody put in covered almost half, and so I put in the rest, and that was just that, right? And no one was looking like at the end of the night there wasn't a okay, well, who paid what and da. It just worked, right? And
that's probably the worst. That's one of my pet peeves, or my where people are like, well, you guys had cake, but I didn't have the cake, so I don't want to pay for that. No, that's one of my pet peeves. You know, what my going motto is, I don't want to let money get in the way of a good time. And that was something that I wanted to, I was banging that drum over and over again when people would ask me, how much is it? Well, you know, it's this much, but just pay me what you can. Thank you, man. Thank you for, I feel like, you know, I was everywhere. I was upstairs, I was downstairs, I was outside. I feel like you were the glue that kind of held everyone together still, you know, when I wasn't around. In fact, I was at the airport by myself. That's a different story. And you were there to receive people. I mean, you were there to kind of, and y'all, in my understanding, y'all had some great conversations without me. And as I was talking about the young gun, you know, he wasn't as vocal in the bigger group, but if you caught him on the side, then his conversation was pretty deep as well. Right. And, you know, I just love how everyone had something to bring. Not necessarily monetary, not necessarily this or that, but they brought they shared a piece of themselves without reservation. And I really love that. I got some nicknames for you, man. You got any nicknames for anybody that was on the
you know what? I don't really. I know we were throwing out some stuff. We were there, but I definitely want to hear some nicknames. What you got?
All right. And I also got to big up my brother Neil at some point. You know, I was talking to Steve, and Steve said that they call him Genius. So I don't know if you caught me calling him Genius, and you probably didn't even know why, because I don't think you was in the room when
I figured he worked for the Apple bar or something, man, and he was or BMW. You know, they got geniuses, and Apple has geniuses. I had no idea why they call him Genius.
He said that, hey, you gotta be. If someone's gonna call you a genius, maybe you might be one of the smartest people in the room, or just posing as one. But they call him Genius. So one night we came back from the either Bourbon Street or the casino, and the young gun, man, he was over there putting pizzas in the oven and burritos. I call him Pizza Man. That was my nickname for him, Pizza Man. Also, we got a Pickle Man as well.
Got a jar of pickles in my refrigerator right now.
I saw your jar. I don't know if we're gonna talk about that. I don't know if we have enough time. But also, there's just always, Tuck is always going to be country. That boy is countrier than anybody that I know, at least in my phone. And Rudy, in my phone, I have this nickname for him as well. He's Mumble Mouth. I'm not going to say what the rest of it is, but if you ask Siri, call Mumble Mouth. That's my boy Rudy. And Obi, he's Sneaky Pete. So I don't know if you caught any other nicknames, but
I caught them going around.
Yeah.
I caught Sneaky Pete. I've heard you do that before. I've seen Rudy's name in your phone. I didn't know you called Tuck Country, but it does apply. Let me just throw another shout to Tuck. So there was a time where we were sitting around. I think we was just playing dominoes, or maybe we was just vibing. We was definitely drinking, and we were doing the DJ thing, right? So when I got there, I just linked to the phone. I threw on some Smokey Robinson radio, and it was cool. And then people were like, "Hey, play this," and somebody was like, "Play that." So we were going around the circle. You remember that?
Yeah.
So Tuck said, "Play Devil Went Down to Georgia." Now, I don't know a person on this planet of age that has never heard of that song. I also don't know anyone who knows the words word for word except Tuck. And I had to put my bones down for a minute because he wasn't even mumbling through it. Like, I can mumble through it. If you ain't listening hard, you'll be like, okay, he knows what the song's about. But Tuck knew the words, the attenuations, the accents, the pauses. He knew it all right. I was like, man, you about the countryest black man I know. If not just the countryest man I know, you truly qualify. So, and then he got to talk about animals and all that at his house. I was like, man, you live an epitome of a black cowboy right there. So
Right.
country fits. Country fits.
Hey, I missed him rolling a square shot glass. I missed him rolling a square shot glass. I've never seen that before, and I heard that he rolled a square shot glass. And if you don't know what rolling a square shot glass is, be on our next show, be on our guest list, and maybe you'll see it.
Put a pillow down in front of you because you're probably going to drop it. He did that within 3 minutes of him coming in. And, and that was about that. I was like, man, whatever, Tuck, it's all good. So it was just good to see him. It was good to see everybody, man. And I remember when we landed, I sent a text to the group chat, and it says, "We are in the dirty, let the debauchery begin." And it was off the hook from that point. Had an awesome time. So
well, before we pivot too far, let me just give a big shout out to my brother, my older brother, that I share the day with, 24 hours apart. My older brother, Neil. He and I are brothers in laws. We married sisters, and he got me by 24 hours. And so I always give him the respect as my elder, the same way that I give you respect as my elder. But Neil and I, we immediately just vibe. We just immediately vibe. As soon as I started meeting family members, my wife's family, we were kind of on the outside because we were marrying the sisters, but there's been times in which we've traveled together. One time, I think he shared the story that we went to Italy, and we were in Rome without knowing the other one was going to be there,
Right.
and we had a chance to hang out in Rome. And whenever I go to the East Coast, I make a point to spend some time with my brother, and vice versa. So Neil, man. Just laid back, just super cool, man. Just I would call it funky fresh, man. Death, easy going, just so chill. Had such a good time spending with you, man. And thank you for blessing me with all your wisdom and being my big brother.
Yeah. Hey, and Neil, your shoe game is on point, man. I meant to compliment you while you was there. He has some fresh kicks while he was there, and I'm not talking about like Converse. His shoe game was truly on point, old school player style, but he was rocking it. So I was not mad at your shoe game. So, but I gotta ask, man. You 50 now. You ain't in your 40s no more. Have your musical taste changed any? What you listening to?
Oh man, I've been listening to OJ, Smokey Robinson. Let me see. I've been listening to Temptations, Commodores, Little Maze. I've been doing my grown folk, my adulting music selection now. So That's what I'm listening to. What you listening to, Dad?
About the same, man. I was in Atlanta, and one of the cats I was hanging out with, he would say it every day. You know Smoke? You know Smoke? You know Smoke? And that's all he would listen. He would go to YouTube and find different Smokey Robinson songs. So I just found a Smokey Robinson station on Spotify and just playing the old greats, man. And letting it hit. And the last few days, I've been pulling out some old Aretha, man. Some Aretha Franklin. I'm gearing up to see Respect, right? With Jennifer Hudson playing Aretha. And if anybody could throw them pipes out there, it would be her. So I really want to see, and I don't want to go too far with it. Those versus shows they've been doing.
Yeah,
You know, I want to see like a Jennifer Hudson and Fantasia.
I was gonna say.
Right? I mean, because, I don't even know who I would say has the better pipes. I just know they both can get down. And I really want to say it's J Hud, right? Because she's just phenomenal, but you can't sleep on Fantasia. That girl can I've seen her in concert. I've listened to some of her music. I'm just like, man, you're doing big things since American Idol. So, but yeah, man, getting my grown man music on. And with that, I've been in my 50s for a year and a few days now. For you're about a week and some change. Things do change, man. Your patience level changes. You don't tolerate certain things. Things get a little easier, a little smoother. It's like life turns into brown liquor. It just goes down slow, even when it stings, right? You just take it. So it's all good.
I walked away with some wisdom that country boy Tuck shared. He said that as he's gotten older, he's just made in order to survive and have a peace of mind, his world is smaller, and he doesn't get out and do as much. He doesn't allow things to get under his skin. He doesn't concern himself with things that are too big and out of his control. And I shared that with my wife, and I said, I'm going to try to emulate that. I need to figure out a way to make my world smaller. If I think about what's going on in Afghanistan and in this country and the racial divide and the politics and COVID and the gas prices and who's going to be our next president and whether or not in California we're going to overturn our governor. If I think about the education and police reform and on and on and on, if I stay in front of the television and I worry about everything that's going on in this world that are some things that are out of my control, I will be very depressed and almost feeling helpless. I need to find a way to balance it, and maybe we could talk about that and get some experts on, so we could actually have a very intellectual discussion with some mental health professionals, how social media and media impacts somebody's well-being.
No doubt. I'm gonna put a stamp on that one right there and let it be. I couldn't said it better myself. Y'all been kicking it with Caleb and your man Dave 2 times on the Brothers from the 818, just reflecting and talking about what it's like to be on the other side of the half-century mark and remembering NOLA and Atlanta and just all that we do. Like we said, we just want to open the door to our conversation and let you take a peek inside. We do have some exciting stuff coming up as we close out this year and season 2 on the Brothers from the 818. So we thank you for hanging with us. We thank you for bringing your friends in and letting them see what's going on. And just being real with us as we're being real with you. You can catch us pretty much everywhere. You're probably watching us on YouTube or Facebook right now. You can catch us on streaming channels, Spotify, Apple Music, Google Music, iHeartRadio, Audible, Amazon. The list goes on and on. And as always, you can catch us on our website, brothersfromthe818.com. That's right, 49er fan from the 818. I like that. That's one of our custom shirts. It gives you the from the, and you can put in whatever you want and customize your own gear. You can catch that on the website as well. Until we catch you next week, we want you to be easy, love yourself, love somebody else, and make sure you stay real. As Caleb said, make your world a little smaller, slow down and enjoy. And like I said, treat it like brown liquor. It'll go down slow and smooth. Sometimes it stings, but you always gonna be all right. And with that, I say peace out.
Peace. That's the wordsmith.
We out.
You are down with.
The brothers from the age